Good morning. Today is Thursday, February 15th. February 15th. Let me double check. Yep, that's what it says, February 15th, 2024. My name is Terry Morgan. We are here to practice Tai Chi. I have a little bit of few announcements. I've been offline for the last few days, and put this down. I've been offline and skipping class for the last few days. I was doing something. I have previously published a book that talks a little bit about martial arts culture in a book called The Ambassador. An older woman brings together a tight-knit team to protect the local neighborhood. Together they must defeat the invading Omeri. I made it up. It's science fiction, martial arts, adventure. It's all about the adventure. And I wrote it, published it last year, 2023, book one. There are 5 books in total. I've said this a couple of times. There are 5 books in total. I've finished all 5. I've got the artwork for all 5 redone, and I'm going to publish all of them probably in the next 2 weeks. It's a big deal. And you're hearing about it. I am extremely pleased with the way that the stories ultimately turned out and the way that they came together. The idea behind the story is that we have multiple versions of the highly destructive, tear everything down, pollute everything, destroy the planet folks. We know who they are. We have lots of them. It's not just one in particular, it's more than one. And there is a part of that culture that is pervasive. It's mine, I want it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to do whatever I want to with it, and you can't stop me. That's the culture. The planet doesn't belong to us. It really doesn't. So when they do that, it creates a problem for other people. Global pollution is a big problem. And in the book, my characters don't solve the problem. They don't solve any of the problems, really. They try. And they talk about it. And it covers multiple generations. You'll see this, I'm going to put some pictures up in a little bit, with some of the audio. So I've recorded, not only have I got the editing completed, I've recorded audio for all 5 books. And some of it's already available on my podcast. Some of it is available on YouTube, and some of it, more of it, will be available on YouTube this week. Alright, so that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot. It was a marathon, and it's related. It's related. In practicing Tai Chi and practicing martial arts, we develop Kung Fu, workmanship. Now, I've talked about this before, that there are those who will say, oh, you can't, I'm Chinese, I know this, you can't say Kung Fu means something else. It doesn't mean anything else, it only means this one thing. No, not what my teacher taught me. He's Chinese, he knows. You guys talk about it together, okay? I'm going with workmanship means workmanship. Kung Fu. You practice. You develop your skills. You develop your knowledge, you develop your abilities, and you develop what you can do. Go. You develop it to a high level. Yeah, go. In recording the stories, one of the things I had to do was modulate my voice. I'm still a little fuzzy here. All right, but being able to do that and understanding what happens with the vocal mechanism, which includes the breathing apparatus, the lungs, the diaphragm, all of the muscles, tendons, and ligaments that connect the breathing apparatus to the breath, that physiological structure, the breathing apparatus, that connects to what we are able to do in taking in oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. That process is fundamental for Tai Chi. It's fundamental for all of our martial arts. If you're going to do physical activity, you have to breathe. You do. You have to breathe. Being able to manage your breath is fundamental for any vocal art, whether it's opera or whether it's just me reading my stories. It makes a difference. That skill I developed partly from theater and more from my Tai Chi practice. Slow, regulated breath combined with the movements. The other thing, and we're getting ready to start here, feedback shoulder width apart. The other thing that I learned from Tai Chi that I used in the recordings was endurance, determination, absolutely, and endurance. That I spent roughly 5 days recording 4 books. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not as easy as it's, oh, I gotta do that. No, it's not that easy. And editing at the same time. So that combination of things, and there's martial arts, actual martial arts instruction in the book. It's part of the story. Their connection with the real world, the connection with traditional martial arts, and the connection with who we are. Who are we? That we're going to practice these arts, that we're going to teach these arts, and how are we going to bring up the next generation? It's in the book. Feet back, shoulder width apart, bend the knees, wiggle fingers, shoulders down and relaxed, pull up through the crown of the head. The audio is going to be available for free too. And circle in front, back around both sides, up along center line. Stretch out, bend the knees. And again. One more time. Pull up, elbows drop down, wrists, hands return to your sides. All right, I'm gonna say that again. I've recorded all of the audio. I have not edited all of the audio for all 5 books. Book 1 is available on the Spotify channel. It's on Spotify. It's on all of the podcast channels. You can get it on iHeartRadio, get it anywhere you want to get your podcast. I'm going to post on YouTube. So the folks who've been gracious enough to follow me on YouTube will get local version of the exact same audio on this channel. The ability to put all of that together and make it work, and it's taken me some effort. My phone is ringing, I'm trying to ignore it. So, excuse me. Yeah, that happened too while I was recording. A lot of things. Okay, so that, again, this idea that I've got this material, I've got it, some of it's ready, some of it's already out there, some of it's ready, it's going to be out there in the next few days. It's imminent. And ignore the funny noise in the background. That's the phone from the hang-up call that I really didn't want to take, because it was probably somebody trying to sell me something. Anyway, for today's class, part of what I wanted to do is to address this connection between what we do in the arts and what we do in other things. That as we develop the skills to work through the forms, as we develop the presence of mind to pay attention to what we're doing, those skills carry over into everything else that we do. Alright, from Yan style Tai Chi, just the first part, and I'm going to turn around so you can follow me, okay? Just the very first part, and not too much. Salute. Relax the breath. Pull up through the crown of the head, shoulders down, pull up the back, pull up through the center. Shift the weight to the right, open the left. Arms up, breathe in, and breathe out. Shift, open, bend the knees, step through. And shift, relax, step through. Shift back, push, turn, single whip. Shift, raise your hands. Turn, white crane, spreads its wings. Brush knee. Step up, handstrum the loop. Brush knee again. And again. Turn to the other side. Brush knee. And shift. Brush knee. Handstrum the loop. And brush knee. Step back. Turn. Deflect downward. Parry. And punch. Shift back. Close the door. Turn. Crossing hands. Press down. Straighten. Close. Salute. Alright. The beginning of this series, I started with the opening that I learned from Yang Jin Do. Okay? Feet together, stand straight. Shift the weight to the right. Open left. And no, I don't move when I shift that weight. You shouldn't move. Open. Here is straight. The bend starts here as we open. All right. From the Traditional form I learned from Huang Wei Lun. Well, here, same. Sink, open, straighten, and sink again. Now turn. Stay there, right? Once we get past that initial 3, 4, it's one move, but we can break it down into three or four different things. Once we get past that, the set, this beginning set, is more or less the same. Brush knee is a little bit different. Brush knee from here, turn the waist, press through. This is from Yang Jin Do. Alright, so brush knee, palm is here, turn the waist, extend through. From Huang Wei Lun, brush knee, this comes here. It's not this, it's here. Right? That difference doesn't change the ending position. It changes how the movement functions. So this is still coming with press or push. I'm still going, that's still going to happen. This turn through the waist, both movements require that turn through the waist. The first one, here, the hand stays more or less at the same height as the shoulder through the move. The palm remains facing forward. To push. It's a palm, right? Okay? It's not fingers, it's palm. This version, where I've got more of a slide into the move, has a slightly different dynamic to it, and it's more of that penetrating, I'm entering, I'm going in. This is more, I'm going to strike at. That subtle difference is one of the things that we should pay attention to in all of our forms. Okay? Same system, two very well-known teachers. A little bit different. Why? Why might they do that? Talked about this before. I did talk about it. Why would that happen? Part of it is simply the art and the way an art develops. Part of it is the advantage we have from our body. What do you have? Not mine, it's yours. What do you have? Yang Jin Do, you look pictures, was about yay high. I studied with him briefly, very briefly, took a seminar. So this is from personal experience. I was in Taijiquan, in Shanxi province, and I met him. So he's about yay high, barrel shape. The people have different body shapes. This is a narrow body shape. This is a round body shape. He had a barrel body shape. Okay, so his advantage came from, and his father the same. Yang Jin, the founder of the system, was the same body type. That turn here to bring the full force of the whole body into the move, absolutely, absolutely. There's a great advantage for someone who has that body type to be able to use that kind of movement. There is. Huang Wei Lun, about yay high. Southern China, Guangdong Ren, about yay high. Flexible and nimble beyond what I thought was humanly possible. And stronger than, much stronger than he appeared. much, much stronger than he appeared. Alright, so his advantage isn't going to come from his size. It's not. Unless he's trying to be quick and light and use that flexibility, and then he's got a great advantage. Okay, so physical strength coming from the use of the physical body, not in the same way. Okay, so using that flexibility and being able to move through much more. It's much more in line with, much more, and I'm looking for the word here, his capability in being able to do that. Okay? That was not Yang Jindo's capability. He was elegant. Yang Jindo was elegant in his movements. He was flexible. He was supple. He was a Taiji master. Right? Different person, different physical capabilities. He took the form and used what he had to develop. I do the same thing. I do. In practice, we find certain moves that we like. White crane spreads its wings. I like that move. I like brush knee too. Brush knee is, brush knee is all right. It's comfy. I've done a lot. I've practiced it a lot. Handstrung lute, yeah. I feel comfortable in all of these movements. The way that I do them and the skill, gong fu, that I bring to how I do the movement comes from my own practice, comes from my own body, comes from what I've learned, comes from the two teachers that I learned from. That's only for Yang style. I'm not talking about all the rest of it. Wudang style comes from Professor Liu Zhang, and I'll talk about that in a different segment. So with what I'm talking about this morning, this idea that I've learned traditional Yang style in two slightly different ways from two well-known teachers, and part of my contribution to the art is to add and blend that together and to add my own capabilities. So what are my capabilities? What do I do well? What do I not do well? What do I have to struggle with? And what comes easily to me? So when I very first started Tai Chi, one of the things that I had been doing right before, I had been studying traditional dance, ballet, a little modern, not so much jazz, mostly ballet. All right? So I had learned a few things. Where am I going here? This series and I'm going to step away from the wall and try that again. This series, I'll go this way, was one that I did repeatedly in competition, and part of what I was able to do, I'm struggling with a little bit today, but that broad sweep to bring the leg around and then put it down was one of my characteristic moves. So if I was going to competition, you're going to see that move. All right? It's close. It's close. I'm working on it. All right, and we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about that at length. The skill to bring up the leg, right, here. Hold the hip. Pull up through the center. Hold the back. Extend. And, and don't lean. And then be able to do the circle to extend the leg. So sweep, circle, extend. It's not a flourish, it's not fancy, it's simply the extension. This sweeps around and extends. As we do that, more or less, as I set back, right, I'm here, single whip, set back, circle, sweep, applications are part of what we pay attention to. So, Ranja Samalaya, circle the leg in the air, right? It's also part of a technique called the Grand Bama. The leg goes all the way up. There are lots of folks who have skill to be able to do that and do it well. That control and those movements were something that I had, still have part of, and enjoyed. I liked the move. It shows. In my teaching, I found students who liked this move, they liked that move, didn't like that one. It shows. We can see it. As we practice, we want to pay attention to the movements that we like so that we get better at doing them. We want to pay attention to the movements we don't like and get better at those too. And recognize that we have a preference. We do. The more you understand how you move, the more you understand how your own body functions, the more you understand what your own preferences are and how you're going to practice, what you're going to do in your own practice, the better you're going to get at it. That recognition makes so much difference in everything that we do. Alright, I'm going to end with this today. I will be picking classes back up. Like I said, I've got a bunch of material that is now ready to go. And you will have first opportunities at hearing some of it. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. I appreciate it.